What is going on, YouTube people? New Guys and Comics here for another edition of the weekly sports card market update. Had no shows this weekend. There was one local show about an hour away that I chose not to go to, but I'll be honest, I was kind of jonesing for one. Um, I spent most of the morning poking around eBay and Comc on Saturday, just looking for stuff, trying to find some auctions to watch. I just wanted some action. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, I took, worked a half day Thursday, took Friday off. An annual tradition I have to just kind of take this 4-day weekend and do nothing but watch as much basketball as humanly possible, even though I'm not a big college basketball guy. Always get some wings and some pizza and then just kind of zone out for 4 straight days. So I'm coming out of a food coma and basketball coma for about 20-30 minutes to record this video. But part of that on Saturday, I was definitely like, man, I wish I had a show to go to. I saw there was a newer show in Austin that was going on this weekend, Texas. I saw there was a big show in White Plains, but I guess the Austin show, the vibes seem to have been pretty good based off some information that I've heard. The White Plains show I heard was not very busy, but I guess the weather was absolutely god awful. So I am still eyeing up Chantilly. I haven't booked anything yet, but it is strongly on the radar. I've looked at hotels, figured out what time I would need to leave by and all that kind of stuff to make the trek down there. So I am leaning heavily towards attending Chantilly in about, it'll be 2 weeks from this weekend. So busy news week. We had some mergers, we had some acquisitions going on. We had a little bit of nonsense, some big cards selling, lots of charts and graphs. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. But before we do, quick shout out to our channel partner, Comc.com, sponsor of the weekly sports card market update. They still have their hockey event going on right now. I know as soon as I finish up recording this video, there are some eBay auctions that are ending this evening that I have my eyes on. I just picked up a Jamar Chase PSA 9 orange color match out of 249 off Comc this morning when I was poking around looking for stuff. And like I said, I'm trying to turn, rather than cash out, I try to like to buy cards. So I am trying to use the Comc credit that I have built up over the last year, taking a portion of that and looking to buy some cards that I think have decent upside heading throughout the summer and leading into the national stuff that I think will be liquid and things that I think have some upside that I can maybe leverage rather than spending, the 10% cash out fee, buy some cards, have them shipped home and use it that way. So that's my current plan on Comc stuff. I may also, depending on what the Bowman checklist looks like in about a month, I'm thinking I might cash out a little bit of Comc credit and get some boxes on Blowout when Bowman comes around. We'll see. I got to see what the checklist looks like, see what prospects are out there. But let's go ahead and dive in. Newsy stuff. I got to circle back around to something that happened late last week, which was the PSA pricing increase on the Collectors Club. There was a lot of confusion around this, kind of by their own doing. So they announced that they were doing the Fanatics thing for Fanatics Live credit. Later, I find out that the Loop credit is not actually going away. The Loop credit is staying too, which I did not realize at the time. And then there was confusion because people were going to sign up and seeing that it was listing the Loop credit, but there was no mention of Fanatics Live credit. So the whole situation was very, very confusing. I actually DM'd someone over there, and they said they would get it corrected, and now it is corrected. So for the $150 for the base level, you get $120 in Loop credit and $60 in Fanatics Live credit, plus the other nonsense. The premium membership gives you the card ladder access. I think that's the big draw on the premium, and you get a little bit more Fanatics Live credit. So that is how that works. It is now corrected on the website. Another PSA thing that I just never got a chance to talk about. I'm actually interested to try this out. I just don't have it in the submit right now. I'm going to play this video. I'll just leave it on mute. They updated the app that you can now scan your cards and it automatically matches them up and puts in the declared value and everything, so you don't have to manually type everything in anymore. So you could do the whole submission process on your phone and then print the paperwork out at the end. So in theory, it looks pretty slick. I just have not messed with it yet. So I'll get some firsthand experience with that. Maybe the next time I have something to send in, I'll give this a whirl. If you've tried it, let me know. Does it work pretty well? Because sometimes this stuff, you never really know. But it looks like, yeah, I saw Spidey Hits Justin did a little Instagram reel on it, and it looked like he was having pretty good success with it scanning Marvel cards. So I assume it's using the card ladder database for pricing, but we'll have to see. So that's another little update that they did, just a little quality of life improvement on that one. Just a random update. My damaged card is back at PSA. It is working its way through the process. I have no updates on that yet. My baseball special order from February, that completed on Friday. I got notifications that grades were ready. I did not look, though I want to. But the grades did pop on that. That took less than a month. That arrived to PSA on February 26th. My grades were available yesterday on March 22nd. Now, that order has not shipped yet. I expect it to probably ship out on Monday. So it's probably going to be dead on 30 days from the time that it left my hands to the time it's on its way back to me. I continue to hear word on the street that SGC orders are pushing 30 days. I was just looking at the blowout thread the other day, and I was looking at something on Facebook where someone was saying that their current SGC orders are pushing close to 30 days in some stuff. So once again, I've been saying it for weeks now. If SGC loses the time advantage, I think that could potentially really hurt them, especially if PSA is cranking out special orders in under 30 days, which I've sent 3 orders now so far in 2024, and we're 4 months in, basically almost 4 months in. Every order has taken less than 30 days to come back, or very close to 30 days. Now, vintage, they're still backed up on. Autograph stuff, they're still backed up on. In the autographed, or in the grading world rather, the other big news of the week was CGC acquiring JSA. I'll just kind of reiterate what I said in the video, but in a 30-second format. On the card side, I am not sure how big of a deal this is. It's nice that we have some additional competition with PSA and Beckett in the in-person autograph slab if you want that on a card. I still think this has the biggest waves on the comic book side. A lot of people have been saying in the comic book world this week that this is really a big blow to CBCS, which is kind of what I thought. We'll have to see how this all plays out and how things shake out, how they handle the label situation and things like that, what they're going to charge for. It's still a lot of unknowns, but this feels like a big, big win for CGC Comics division. Nice addition on the card side too, but I think this has more ramifications in the comic book world. The LeBron, the Bronny dual Superfractor PSA 10 auto sold this week on PWCC. Went for $114,000. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I didn't hear much about this card. Like, I knew that it was up, but I don't know. I just felt like there wasn't a lot of marketing behind the fact that this auction was currently running. Maybe I just was not looking in the right places. I don't know. 114,000. Listen, I have never been able to wrap my mind around these higher end cards like this. I have no idea what the appropriate value is on this. Obviously, a LeBron 1 of 1 signature with his kid, even if his kid never plays a minute in the NBA, is kind of a cool thing. I don't know that it's 114,000 cool. I know people hate LeBron, so they're probably already yelling in the comments about how LeBron sucks. To me, gut feel, I thought this would go for more. I'm surprised there wasn't a bounty for this card. I don't know. This just seems, I don't want to say it seems low because it's a crap ton of money to spend on a LeBron auto, with the dual auto being his kid, who may or may not have any relevance in professional basketball other than being LeBron's kid. But I just kind of thought it would go for a little bit more about that than that. But I also feel like this auction wasn't marketed very much. But like I said, maybe I just missed it. Don't know. Big release of the week, Topps Dynasty. I listened to Teapot talk about this on his Saturday Market Movers video, and I could not agree more. I do think Dynasty is a very slept-on product. I love Topps Dynasty. I have a handful of Topps Dynasty cards, not a ton. I have about 2 or 3 Jose Ramirez's. I have a Roger Clemens and a couple others. This is Topps Dynasty. Other than Star Wars Stellar, Topps Dynasty cards are some of my favorite cards produced. Now, that being said, you're a crazy person to rip Topps Dynasty. They're like $800 to $1,000. I'm going to use box and air quotes because you only get one card, and it is real easy to get smoked. Because some of the cards that'll come out of there, if you pull a Jose Ramirez, for example, great player, nice game use patch with an auto, those cards sell for about $100 to $200. Now, the highs are real high. They also, their little marketing gimmick on this one, they included Wemby. Wemby is in this product, even though it's a baseball product, because he threw out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. They are milking that for all that it is worth. And they put him in here with some patch auto cards from his first pitch extravaganza. Seems odd. They keep putting Wemby in these baseball products, or they've used people that aren't even in baseball to promote the baseball products. We had Wemby, and then we had Tom Brady, a football player, for Bowman Draft 2023. So interesting times there. Let's go ahead and dive into some charts and graphs. Market Movers, link in the description down below. Discount code down there. Free trial, whole 9 yards if you want your own charts and graphs. We're going to hit all the sports today. I got baseball, I got football, I got basketball. Not necessarily in that order. Baseball first. Rosters have been finalized in a lot of cases, or are getting finalized. Jackson Holiday getting sent down to start the season. Little surprised by this one. I thought that he would break camp with the team. I think most people did. These prices are over the last 30 days. So down slightly. He had been trending down slightly because him and Chorio both got the early preseason hype, the early spring training hype before the games actually started. I'll be curious to see how much he dips prior to getting called back up. I do not expect him to be in the minors long. You can see Chorio a couple down there. These are all just base first Bowman autos. Chorio a few down there. He has also been dipping a little bit, down 17%. He did make the opening day roster, but he had kind of a quiet spring training. I think he was fine. He just didn't blow up like Wyatt Langford did. Wyatt Langford, he's up 36%. Probably the biggest winner, along with Spencer Jones, who is down there a little bit further, up 40%. Wyatt is starting on the big league club, getting a ton of pump. Has also seemed to have been, I haven't looked at this specifically, but I believe his hype is also driving up the prices of 2023 Bowman draft boxes. And then we have Spencer Jones down there, up 41%. He has had a torrid spring. He got sent down a while ago, or not reassigned to minor league camp, whatever. They really don't have room for him right now. I don't know if he'll get called up later this year or not. Some of it will probably depend on injuries. He is an absolute freak. He is one that I am keeping my eye on. If his prices dip now that he got sent back down to the minors and people kind of forget about him come April, May, I would look to buy back into Spencer Jones. He is one that I am looking to buy back into. I had my speckle refractor that I ended up trading last week because it jumped way up in price. I would not mind buying back into some Spencer Jones. He's definitely on my radar. My local boy, Chase DeLauder. He had a torrid spring. His stuff did go way up, but he's getting reassigned to minor league camp as well. I'm a little salty about that as a Cleveland fan. Guy absolutely crushed the ball. Our offense sucks. I expect to see him sometime in the late spring, early summer. He's another one I'm going to keep an eye on to see if his prices dip. And then Jackson Merrill, who doesn't really, to the best of my knowledge, one of you prospect hounds can correct me. I don't think he has a true first Bowman auto. I couldn't really find one. Is there something weird with his autos that I'm not aware of? His PSA 10 Bowman Chrome auto, not a first, is up about 23%. He kind of surprised made the Padres, and he had a really good series in Korea. So his prices kind of spike up a little bit based off the surprise making the team and also starting off pretty well. A bunch of other guys we could talk about, but those are the 5 that I chose to run down very quickly. And baseball starts this week officially. Otani, talked about him a little bit on Friday. Still a little too soon to say on the prices. They are dipping, as I talked about in the video on Friday. Over the last 30 days, you can see he was trending down a little bit. A couple of these did perk back up. But generally speaking, over the last 30 days, he's down about 10 to 25% on his more common refractors. Like I said, was kind of trending this direction prior to this news coming out. Then this news happened. So I'll be curious to see where things kind of settle out at. Now MLB is officially investigating it. So we'll see where this all goes, how bad this ends up getting. Based off the comment section of that video, the concern level seems low. A lot of people were like, I'm not doing anything. If I have them, I'm just kind of going to hold. Some people commented that they are going to look to buy low. There was a couple people that were concerned. I think a lot of people are feeling, I don't want to say an extra level of anxiety, but I think the way the whole Wander Franco thing played out has kind of made people look at these situations a little bit differently. Because no one kind of thought that was, a lot of people were kind of like, oh, whatever, this is just a bunch of Twitter nonsense. And then as things continue to go on, you begin to find out more and more, and you're like, oh, wait a second, this is real bad. I don't know that the Otani situation is going to head that direction, but it's at least in play now. And that's the thing. It's in play. So we'll see. We will see what happens with his cards. I think by this time next week, we'll have a good idea, and we might also have more clarity on the situation as more news comes out. I forgot, we have hockey cards in this video. Buckle up, people. A little hockey. Just a quick little peek at one Mr. Connor Bedard. His raw Young Guns is now down to $460, about a $300 to $400 drop from that initial price. We are also now getting PSA 10s hitting the market already. They came out of the gates about 2.5 to 2.7K. They are currently down to about $2,200 and continuing to trend down because more and more of these are going to continue to hit the market. If we expand this out, there's already been 40 PSA 10 sales, 999. I am guessing that is a limiter in market movers, because that seems awful coincidental, and I have a feeling more than 999 sold. I could be wrong on that. They printed this card into the ground. And I know that it is, 1 per case, 1.5 per case, whatever it is. I shouldn't say this card. They printed this product into the ground. This card will not be rare. There might be a lot of demand for it to balance it out. Just to give you some comparison, I pulled up Connor McDavid on the universal search. There have been, between the 4 major grading companies, just over 16,000 total graded. Just under 6,000 at PSA, over 10,000 at Beckett, 216 at SGC, and 36 at CGC. Boy, oh boy, if you ever wanted to snapshot the dominance of Beckett at one point in time, go back to 2015 when Beckett was at the peak of their powers, and look at the market share that they had on this card compared to PSA. 10,000 in Beckett slabs compared to almost 6,000 in PSA slabs. I bet you the Bedard, when we look at it in a few weeks, months, whatever, it'll be PSA by a mile and everybody else barely touching that report. I would love to know how many of those 10,000 Beckett slabs are actually still in that slab and have been cracked out and submitted to PSA. And by the way, people always say, oh, PSA just hands out tens. This grading company just hands out tens, this, that, the other thing. Look at the gem rate percentages there across the board, company by company. Now, the sample size on CGC and SGC is kind of small compared to the other two. Beckett, an 81% gem rate on Connor McDavid at Young Guns. PSA coming in at 47%. Now, keep in mind, Beckett, you could cheat that gem because you get the min gem on it, which on a paper card, that gives you a little bit more leeway to pull that 9.5. But this was in 2015, almost 10 years ago. And there are almost 17,000 of these things on the population report. I'm going to guess Bedard is double. I don't know. Would you be surprised if, maybe not necessarily double, would you be surprised if that's 25,000 on the pop report when it's all said and done, if not more? I wouldn't be. We'll see how things shake out, but I just kind of wanted to use this as a little comparison for a different player from a bygone era in regards to the print runs. Let's talk a little basketball really quick. Pulled some Victor up. This is something that the Sports Card Investor crew was talking about this week. And they're right. I kind of noticed this too a couple weeks ago. We talked about Victor. I have his autograph up there just kind of for a baseline comparison purposes. And then I have a silver prism and a raw and a PSA 10. This is all data, or I went back to January 1st. I'm sorry. I eliminated the very first couple early sales. Usually what happens is these prices decrease immediately. And Victor came out of the gates at 2.5K on his PSA 10 silver, and it's basically held. It's at 2.4K right now. Dipped a little bit in the middle and is immediately going back up again. And he had a monster game on Friday night. I saw the stat line on that. Victor's just insane. If they ever get a team around that dude and he could remotely stay healthy, guy is wild. I think if you really wanted to air quote invest, I think the first Bowman auto might be the way to go. Very limited supply, and it's really his only true rookie auto. They do not, they're going for well over 4K. It is a big bullet to bite, but sheesh, he looks so good. So good. That being said, I don't know that I want to pay 2.4K for a silver prism. That feels like a trap. I feel like we've been down this road before, especially when a Luka is selling for, you can get 2 Lukas right now for the price of 1 Victor. And Luka is not as scary health profile as Victor is. So that's kind of an interesting comparison. What would you rather have? 2 Luka Silvers or 1 Victor? Because I'm pretty sure you can get 2 Luka Silvers pretty easily for 1 Victor Silver. But it's just an interesting trend that he is bucking against, that his cards have released and have actually gone up. Demand is meeting and exceeding the wave of supply that is coming on to the market at the moment. Another one just to check in on really quick, since it is March Madness, I figured what the hell not. Let's take a peek. Caitlin Clark stuff continues to climb. We talked about it when she broke the scoring record, how if you just went back in time and you just bought all Caitlin Clark cards, it was probably the best investment you could have made. This is going back to September. This is looking at her first Bowman auto, some of her Bowman best autos, and her base refractor. Look at the percentages. I'll expand this out. Up 72%, up 262%, up 377%, up 180%. We'll see what she does, if anything, in the NCAA tournament, if Iowa can make a run or not. I think they actually play maybe right as I'm recording this video or later tonight. I don't remember. I feel like they play this weekend. I just don't remember when. If she can make a deep run, this stuff will continue to go up. The interesting thing will be what happens if the run stops. They get bounced in the first weekend or in the Sweet 16 or something. They don't even make the Final Four. What are her card prices due as we head into the spring and summer months leading into the WNBA draft? And then with her going Panini exclusive, I have to imagine they're going to roll out a ton of stuff for WNBA Prism for her. Once that product hits, does it affect this early Bowman stuff? Or do people think of her more as an Iowa Hawkeye than they do as a WNBA player? I don't know. We're in uncharted waters with this one. Let's talk a little football. Just a little bit of a quarterback check-in, if you will. I was just kind of curious to kind of see where things sit at the moment. A couple things jumped out at me. One, I am surprised that Burrow is still that high. When you look at the new guys coming into the market, it feels like there's a little bit of a correction going on. I'm not surprised by the Herbert drop. So just for some clarity here, Burrow is still over or right about 2K for a silver prism. This is, I think this is since January 1st I did this. No, just 30 days, just over the last 30 days. So Burrow's flat over the last 30 days. Herbert's down about 20%. His offense has gotten decimated. They got rid of all his wide receivers. It'll be interesting to see if they've been involved in trade rumors potentially for trading back. If they stay at 5, does a Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors fall in their lap? I have to imagine if they stay, they're taking one of the wide receivers. Does that juice up the Herbert market for a little bit? But really, he has no buzz on him at all right now. Same with Burrow. Stroud coming in at $900. I just picked one of these up for $900 on Comc. I feel way better at Stroud at 900 than I do Burrow at 2K. I know that for sure now. Hashtag biased. I just bought one of these. Air quote, insert the pump and dump here. But the Burrow seems out of whack compared to some of these other guys. Jalen Hurts sitting at $500, down about 8%. No surprise there. And then the one that surprised me the most was actually Anthony Richardson. Only 360-ish bucks for a PSA 10 silver. That's actually down 20%. It dropped over the last little bit. Let's still just call it sub 400. I think there's 350 to maybe there's 375 buy it nows floating around on eBay. I don't own any of his stuff. I was just surprised that his silver prism was that low. And I want to talk more about it here in a second, because the other thing that I noticed is the pop on his silver prism was way lower than CJ Stroud's. We'll pull up the universal pop report again here in a couple minutes. Justin Fields, flat. He was going up. Then it dipped down when it looked like he wasn't going to get moved. Then he went back up when he got traded to the Steelers. And then it went back down because the Steelers said he's not the starter. So that one's sitting at $300. It's just crazy to me that the gap on Fields to Richardson is that close. That feels wrong to me for some reason. Let's pop back over Universal Pop Report. Once again, this is gemrate.com, Universal Search. Absolutely love this tool. If you do not have this page bookmarked when you're at a show or something and you're looking at stuff, you're just not doing it right. This is fantastic information. So right here, I have the Stroud Silver Prism. There have been 1,000 graded so far. 42% gem rate. And if you want to talk about grading dominance, look at the pie chart down here. 975 in a PSA slab. 15 in a Beckett slab. 76 in an SGC slab, and 1 in a CGC slab. The fact that only 15 silver prisms have been sent to Beckett really sums up where that company is. And then when you look at 76 going to SGC, when you compare those two, it's absolutely wild. Gem rates, 45%, 40%, 14%. Key thing I want you to carry over to the next page is that 1,000 of these have been graded, and that the gem rate percentage is basically, let's just call it 43%. Side note, this is why as much as, we just crapped on Beckett, this is the big reason why I personally don't like to use SGC for nicer cards. Look at the number that have gone into Mint Plus. If you were wondering why, boy, only a 15% gem rate. So they've graded 76. 11 got 10s, 15 got 9s, 48 got 9.5s. And in my opinion, 9.5 is a death grade. It is the last thing that you want to see. Nobody knows what to do with an SGC 9.5. It's not a grade you want to get. Everyone's going to look at that card and they're just basically going to be looking at it to see if they could crack it out and resubmit it to somewhere else, either back to SGC to try to get a 10 or to PSA to try to get a 10. If you're building a grading scale from the ground up, do not include a 9.5 grade. Now, is it a more collector-based grading scale? Probably. Is it a better grading scale on paper? If you were designing the perfect grading scale, should you have a 9.5? Probably. If you actually want to grab market share and have people send you cards, should you have a 9.5? No. People don't want fair and accurate grading. They want favorable grading. People don't want a 9.5. They just want a 10. But the fact that they have that 9.5 grade, I think, really hurts them. As great as they have done over the last couple of years, I think that 9.5 grade keeps a lot of higher end and nicer cards on the modern side of things from ending up in their slabs. So let's revisit back why we were on this in the first place. 42%, 43% gem rate, 1,000 graded of CJ Stroud Silver Prisms. Anthony Richardson, only 500 graded and only a 33.5% gem rate. So I found that very interesting when looking at this. Because if you pull a Richardson Silver Prism, you're going to send it in for grading if it looks good. The fact that we have half as many on the pop report and the fact that we have a 10% less gem rate overall, I am wondering if there is some sort of print issue with this card. We've seen this over the years with Prism. There's various different ones you can pluck out. The Mahomes 2017 is the most notable. It has a dimple on it. There's been some Lamar Jackson cards over time that have had some issues. The Trevor Lawrence Silver Prism has issues. Kenny Pickett Silver Prism has issues. This doesn't seem that severe because there's still 500 on the pop report with 177 in PSA 10. But the fact that there's half as many and a 10% less gem rate is telling me that people are looking at them and going, nope, this has no shot. I'm not even sending it in. So I'm curious, if you have a bunch of experience with raw AR-15 cards, is it centering? Is it a surface issue? Like, what's the deal that you're seeing over and over again on that card? But it definitely feels like there is a gem mint supply issue with this card compared to at least the Stroud. We'll have to see how things play out. We'll need a bigger sample size, but it's just something to kind of file away and keep an eye on. Once again, this is why I love these universal pop reports. They're absolutely fantastic for stuff like this. So that is all I got for you, boys and girls. We are running way long on this one. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. I have no clue what content is coming up for this week. I have not recorded a thing yet. If you want the videos early, you can become a channel member. I've mentioned this like one other time. I have adjusted the channel memberships. There is a base level one, and then there is an early access one. The early access one, I give access to videos as soon as I upload them. So you get them sometimes a full day ahead, sometimes days ahead, just depending on where I'm at with content. Hopefully I get a PSA order back this week, so we'll do another blind reveal. That is all I got for you, boys and girls. Enjoy your brackets. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.